1 week from Tuesday, voters will head to the polls for New Jersey's midterm primaries, the only statewide race this cycle is for the U.S. Senate. Senator Bob Menendez is running for re-election after his bribery case ended in a mistrial last year. In January, the Justice Department announced plans to retry Menendez, but promptly reversed course just 2 weeks later. Joining me now on set for this edition of Campaign 2018 Local Matters is Michael Aron. Michael is the chief political correspondent for NJTV. Michael, welcome.
Thanks, Elaine.
So this is so fascinating. Let's look at the biggest competitors for Senator Menendez, who has withstood this political firestorm and the legal firestorm now. But when you look at the Democratic primary, who are the biggest challengers to the senator?
Well, he only has a token challenger in the Democratic primary, a woman named Lisa McCormick, who is a publisher of some kind of local newspapers and poses really no threat to him. It's the Republican who's going to run against him in November, Bob Menendez, who is already sniping big time at Menendez and who will also get nominated on Tuesday of next week. And we anticipate a really hard-hitting, really expensive Senate race in the fall.
Yeah, how much do you think that bribery case, which ended in a mistrial, as we mentioned, is going to actually factor into the general election? It
has clearly depressed support and enthusiasm for Menendez, but it hasn't killed him off. He's got a long history in New Jersey. He served at every level of New Jersey politics: mayor, assemblyman, state senator, congressman, U.S. senator. The bribery case was serious. The federal government put a lot into it, but ultimately it was a weak case that collapsed of its own weight. And Menendez has been surviving it. What hurt him the most was that the Senate Ethics Committee a month ago revived its interest in, well, they admonished him. They wrote him a letter and formally admonished him. And Mr. Hugan is making a meal out of that.
I can only imagine. But New Jersey voters, you say, they know Bob Menendez.
Many of them do. He's got a 25-year history in the state. He's perceived as a fighter for the little guy. He's been a pretty good Democrat up and down the line, with a few exceptions like Cuba. He's of Cuban descent, so he parts with the Obama approach to Cuba. He departed from supporting the Iran nuclear deal. He thought that was bad, but other people thought that was appealing to the pro-Israel vote in the state. He's well known. Bob Menendez, who earned $50 million in his final year at Celgene Pharmaceuticals last year and can finance an expensive race, is nobody knows who he is yet. So that's why he's on TV with introductory type ads and attack ads already.
We're showing President Trump there. How much do you think President Trump is actually going to factor into the election?
A lot. I think there's a lot of controversy around President Trump everywhere, as you know, but he's not very popular in New Jersey. It hasn't helped that New Jerseyans are going to pay more in federal taxes as a result of the tax reform law, that he's withholding money for the Gateway Tunnel.
That connects New Jersey to New York, yeah.
That's correct. And I think that's going to buoy Democrats like Menendez and many congressional candidates quite a bit.
Let's talk about the Democratic governor there. After his election win, Governor Phil Murphy vowed to turn New Jersey into a, quote, progressive blue beacon. Now, the Garden State, as you said, is already pretty blue. There has been infighting within the Democratic Party in New Jersey. Still, given that two of New Jersey's Republican congressmen are retiring, do you think that Governor Murphy has a shot at achieving his vision?
I think he has a shot. The two members of his own party, the two legislative leaders, the Senate Speaker, Steve Sweeney, the Senate President, Steve Sweeney, the Assembly Speaker, Craig Coughlin, are they're kind of pulling the rug out from under Murphy. I've covered 10 governors of New Jersey. Murphy's the most progressive I've seen. He wants to raise taxes by $1.5 billion. These other Democratic leaders are afraid of raising taxes. There's an assembly election in 2019 that half the legislature is worried about. And there are reasons for Steve Sweeney to be angry at Phil Murphy, having to do with the gubernatorial campaign itself and an effort by the teachers' union to take out Sweeney as Senate president, an effort that failed, but that Murphy failed to condemn. So it's not clear that Murphy is going to get what he wants. That's all coming to a head in the month of June because there's a constitutional deadline to pass a balanced budget by June 30th. We who follow this stuff are following that more closely than anything right now.
Wow, New Jersey politics, never boring.
Never lets you down is what I say.
Never lets you down. Michael Aron of NJTV, thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Elaine.
We're months away from midterms and more than a year out from the presidential election, but we're already seeing some top Democrats come out on the national stage. In an interview on CBS this morning, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren talked about her new book, This Fight is Our Fight, the battle to save America's middle class. She says people shouldn't start making 2020 bumper stickers yet, and laid out why she got into politics in the first place.
I got into this because I was watching America shift from a country that really worked for working people, a country that was really about opening opportunities, an America that invested in kids like me. I went to a commuter college that cost $50 a semester, an opportunity that's not out there for kids today. And what I've watched over time and what I talk about in this book is how this country works better and better for the corporate interests, for the executives, for the billionaires who have the money to influence Washington, to make it work for them. And as a result, we're getting to be a country that works better and better for fewer and fewer and kicks dirt in everybody else's face. I'm in this to fight back.